Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to Jessica Grace Live. I am your host, Jessica Grace, and I am so excited, so glad that you are here to tune in and be inspired, encouraged, and motivated to move forward in your purpose. Y'all, we have such an amazing show planned for you, but first, I do got to give you a few announcements. Please share this broadcast. Right now, go into your comment section and click the share button. We want to know that you are watching. We want to know where you're watching from. And we want you to share this with someone who needs it. So go right now. Listen, I'm going to go to the broadcast and I am going to share this in my stories. I am so excited. I'm so excited, y'all. I'm excited because it's been a while. It has been a while since I've been live in this way. And it feels so good to be back, as a producer, as a host, as a director. I am in my element, loving what I'm doing. And also as a believer, y'all, getting just being able to share my heart in a creative way, it brings me joy. So I'm excited. All right, let me share this right now in my stories because the stories is where it's at, y'all. Let me share that there. And that way, people will be able to see the broadcast, get a notification, and join us. Your story, let's see here. And it is shared. Okay, so I want to give you guys just a quick update here. So I want you to comment in the comment section. Let us know where you're watching from so we can give you a shout out. And thank you so much for being here with us. I also have to highlight our sponsor, y'all. Our sponsor for today's show, her name is Cheryl Height, and she is the founder and the CEO of Blessed Accessories and Gifts. Y'all, her website is blessedgiftsandmore.com. That's blessedgiftsandmore.com. You can go and check her out. You guys, I love Cheryl so much. She is located in Tupelo, Mississippi. That's where her storefront is. You can walk right into her business and find cute, affordable gifts. But not only that, she has a website, y'all. blessedgiftsandmore.com. That's her website. And I'm excited about it because my marketing company, we built her site and we built it with love. So we're excited about that. We hope you'll go by and visit our sponsor for today's episode. And we're moving right along. On today's show, we have a very special guest. Her name is Aimee, y'all. She is a Christian author. And not only that, but she is an amazing speaker. She's a minister and she just loves God. I love her spirit. I love her heart. I love everything about our guest today. So I'm getting ready to bring her on. Are y'all ready? Are you ready? Let me see what's going on in the comments. Watching from Union City, Tennessee. Hello. Good to see you, Rare Jewel. Thank you for being with us. Yes. Y'all are here to support. I love it. I love it. So we're moving on. Let me bring out our special guest right now. Here she is. Hello, Aimee.
Hi, Jessica.
As you
Awesome
can
introduction.
see. Well, thank you. I'm just happy to have you on the show. Like I said, it's been such a minute, and I'm so blessed that, as I'm returning back to doing live broadcasts, you are my guest here to converse with me and to inspire the people. So, how are you
Okay.
feeling?
I feel good. I'm ready.
You're
Ready. Yes,
ready. You're
ma'am.
ready. Well, we've been talking about walking by faith. That's what my team and I has been talking about, and also with some of our followers in our newsletter. We've just been talking about why it's so important to just stay in faith. These are
Yeah.
such intense times that we're in right now, and if you're not careful, it will cause you to try to move outside of faith,
Yeah.
and move you into a place of being stuck or out of alignment, things of that nature. So it's important that we are walking by faith. And I'm glad that
Yeah.
you are here with us. just to kind of share some insight about that. So, before we get started, kind of tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you do and things of that nature.
Again, she already did such a great introduction, but I am Aimee Bilger. I'm a published author, but I'm also a one, seem like my whole life has been steps of faith. So I'm really
Yeah.
excited about our topic on tonight. I do know that even moving to Tennessee, it was a step of faith. We had to leave
Mhm.
jobs, we had to leave six-figure incomes to drop down to almost feel like one income. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot, but there was a test of our faith. Even when you're going through test of faith, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be uncomfortable. You will not be comfortable.
Mm.
Uh, it's like telling the father to take his son up the hill. And anybody know that story?
Mm.
It's a test of faith. You have to be tested. You have to be tested. But that's just a little bit about me. I know we're gonna intertwine together, but you know what? Faith is so important. We gotta have faith. Yeah, got
Right.
to.
Not only are you a published author, but you're also doing a lot of philanthropy work, right? Kind of tell us a little bit about some of the outreach work that you're doing.
Yes, I recently went into full-time ministry back in January. I'm not a pastor, but I have been ordained as a pastor in Mississippi. I'm also an evangelist, ordained evangelist here in Tennessee. So they know me by Evangelist Aimee here. And at home, they call me
Mhm.
Elder Aimee. But I will say that with the outreach, we cater towards senior citizens. That's our biggest goal. We love youth as well, but our main focus right now is our senior citizen class, the ones who may not be eating. I know we think about children not eating, but there are a lot of adults that are not eating. So we help with their grocery, or
Mm.
sometimes just go and give an encouraging word, or just sit and have coffee with them, or just sit and talk with them. Anything they may need is letting them know that as long as they still have breath, they still have life. So that's our thing with
Right.
outreach. And then jailhouse ministry. Jailhouse ministry, we just there to give them hope and letting them know they don't have to keep coming back, having a recycle life of a circle just in and out of jail. You can have hope. There's more for you out there. You just got to give your life to God and make Him your desire.
Right, right. And with your book, oh my goodness, I know it took a lot of faith
Yes,
to
ma'am.
release
Yes, ma'am.
your book. Tell us about the book and what inspired you to write it and just kind of the faith that it took in order for you to publish it.
Um, what inspired me to write it was I like to write, and I began to notice, and I'm trying not to get emotional now just thinking about it, but I began to write about Aimee. A lot of times we take time to focus on everybody around us, but we fail to put some spotlights on ourselves sometimes. And so I began to write about Aimee. What makes me do this? What makes me act like this? What makes me react like this? I began to check myself, as our pastor here tells us, do a checklist. I began to do a checklist. Go out to the self checkout and check out yourself. So I began to do that, and as I began to write, I just went back, and that's how it started. I think the first beginning of the sentence is my first memory of my dad, because as I began to write, that's what I wrote. And what gave me the
Mm.
courage to write it was my mother. She had been telling me for about 2 or 3 years, Aimee, you need to publish it. You need to publish it. It's so much healing in this book. It's so much healing in it. She kept saying it over and over again. So that's what gave me the courage was my mother pushing me forward. I was a little embarrassed. You don't always want your stuff out there. I didn't. But as sometimes
Mm.
you don't realize or you don't think about it, that the things that we go through is not for us. And
Mhm.
that's what I had to grasp. Like everything that I went through, even though it was painful, everything wasn't just meant for us to bottle in. It was going to bring somebody else out. So that's really was my encouragement. Was my mother? She really pushed me forward towards that, and I had to
Mhm.
cancel out the background noise that my mind was going to tell me what's going to happen. They're going to think this. They're going to say this. People going to think you're talking about them. And I did have a couple people to call me and ask me, "Is this about? Is this about?" It's about Aimee, and that was my response every time because that's what the book was about. It wasn't about to expose anybody else. It was about
Mm.
me and how it helped me get delivered. And then on the flip side, there were women that came to me and said, "That book helped me. That book helped me go to God in prayer. That book put me on my knees to God." That's the part that I got to focus on. So that's what
Mm.
inspired me was my mother.
Wow. Wow. Talk about the liberation. I feel like just listening to you, you were liberated, you were pushed. but also those who read it, those who have been reading it and gleaning from it have been freed by your story.
Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
incredible. That's incredible. So, just thinking about a lot of people in our world today who have really been trying to move forward in their dreams and in their goals. They want to be a published author, they want to be a philanthropist, a humanitarian, they want to start a nonprofit. They have so many things that they want to do, but we know, you and I both know, that it takes faith to move from vision to reality, And so I want to talk about that. I want to talk about you and what are sometimes kind of dive into some times when you have had to truly lean on God and walk by faith. I know you've shared a little bit of your story transitioning to full-time ministry,
Mm-hmm.
but share a little bit more of some times and some practices that you have put in place to help you in your walk of faith.
Okay. Now, Will, say I'm gonna start with that because when you was asking the question, the first thing came to me was procrastination. I was a bad
Mm.
procrastinator. I mean, you either gonna procrastinate or you're gonna have faith. And some people say you
Ooh.
can't put. No, you gonna either procrastinate and keep sitting on it, waiting on it, hoping for it, or you're gonna move forward.
Mm.
Because a lot of things we put faith in. There are people that put faith in a disability more than putting trust in God
Yes.
healing them. You know what I'm saying? I got faith that I'm gonna get disability, but I ain't
Yes.
got faith that He'll heal me. What? So you got to realize
Mm.
where your faith lies, and everybody has a measure of faith. The Bible tells us that really everybody has a measure of faith. But then you got to look at
Mhm.
where's their measure laying. Is it in the disability, the pills that the doctors give? Is that where it's laying, or is it laying in God saying, I will heal you. I'm the one who set you free.
Right.
You know, rejoice in the Lord evermore. Pray without ceasing. And in everything, give thanks. So that's the stuff we gotta trust in. That's if you're a
Wow.
believer. And if you're not a
Mhm.
believer, it's gonna be hard for you to have faith because you're not
Mhm.
believing in something. So I will say that you're gonna have to decide, am I gonna keep doubting, procrastinating, waiting, wishing, hoping, or I'm gonna move forward. And you got to do something. In order to move, you got to do something. You want a building, you need to start looking. You can't just keep sitting. I'm gonna get a building. I'm gonna get a building. And I'm talking to Aimee right now. I'm gonna get a building. I'm gonna get a building. I got to get up and move. Today I found
Yeah.
last week I found a realtor and she took me out this morning. Yeah, you got to start moving. So I'm looking for some next steps, some steps now because I got to
Mm.
move and stop wishing and hoping. Get up and move. That's where your faith is an action word, right? It's an action word. What are you doing with it?
And our faith is stirred by the moves we make, you
Yes.
know? So looking for a realtor, connecting with her, and then, moving forward with that appointment today. I mean, I feel like every time I am pursuing my purpose and doing what I know the Lord has called me to do, it keeps me, like the scripture, like Paul told Timothy, stir up the gift,
Yes.
stir up what's in you, activate what's in you, and move forward in it. And so, but sometimes we do reach those stumbling blocks. And if we're not careful, those stumbling blocks will keep us or discourage us. What are some
Yeah.
times where you've experienced kind of maybe some challenges in what you're doing right now?
I remember when we first stepped out on ministry, me and my husband both. And my husband is an ordained pastor. And so when we first stepped out, we started having services in our home. We was having church in our home, and it went on for months. And that became discouraging because, and then
Mm,
at that time, he had looked at buildings, but it seemed like every place we went, it was always a no.
mm,
A no for this, a no for that. And just about all the no's was because of previous ministries that had tried in these buildings. You
wow.
know, so they was I guess you say had been bitten, or they have doubt
Mm,
about allowing other ministries to come. So you do hit those stumbling blocks, and it will make you sit. I'm gonna stick with that word, sit. It'll make you
yeah.
try to the enemy will play with your mind and make you wonder were you even called, or did God say that? You'll question yourself. And some will even go to the fore and say they even question God. Why is this not happening for me? It's happening for so and so. It's happening for, why is it not happening for me? Not meaning it's not going to happen, but I think everything is a test. It builds, it strengthens our faith. Now I feel like I can have anything. Like literally, I feel like I can have anything, 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 Jessica. I can't hear you.
My earpiece jumped to my iPad.
It's okay. It happens. It happens. Yes.
Yes. But you're so right. So it's like our faith when we move forward and overcome those setbacks, then we start to feel like, oh, this is just a piece of pie. This is just a piece of cake. I can do this. I can
Hmm.
do that. So it takes one step of faith to activate, that momentum, that motivation, that
Yeah.
inspiration, to move forward in what God has called us to do. Okay, let's talk about agreement and, the people that we're connected with and things like that, because I know
Hmm.
that you're married, and I'm sure it takes agreement, and you and your husband and your family who also help you, being on the same page. Let's talk about that, because I know there are some people who may feel like they're having to do this alone, walk
Hmm.
out their vision by their self. What would you say to encourage that person who's trying to kind of find the right people to connect with and things of that nature?
You have to be willing to look outside your race. Um,
Mm,
don't stick within just the people you know. There are people outside of your city that's looking for what you have. So
mm-hmm,
sometimes you have to just look outward and don't limit to the circle that you only know. And I tell business people, because I'm an entrepreneur as well. So, and I remember telling a lot of entrepreneurs, not just one or two, your business is not going to come from your family. Not saying they won't, but that's not going to be your income. That's not going to be your wealth. It's not going to come from inside your church. I don't care if you got 500 people. You're going to have some people that's going to patronize you, but they're not going to keep you afloat. So you got to
mm-hmm,
look outside your horizon. Then there were times me and my husband, Jeremy, we did not see eye to eye. I feel like he was moving slow. He felt like I was moving too fast. I feel like he was thinking too long. He said I was jumping on stuff too quick. So we had to line up together and begin to really pray together sincerely that God open our eyes and our ears that we hear each other correctly and move in the will of
mm-hmm,
God. And that took some time. I'm not going to act like that was easy. I said some stuff. I got a mouth on me. So just honesty. But I'm telling you, but if you stick together, especially if you have a partner, a physical partner in the house with you, that's what they're your mate. So you got to be walking as one, and then you got to remember to line up where you supposed to be too. So my husband tell me all the
mm,
time that I don't walk behind him, I walk beside him. So he walks, we walk together, but I do know that he's still my head. Even though he said I'm
mm-hmm.
walking beside him, Amy still got to recognize that he's my head. And so, with that being said, there are a lot of times I've cried, and I wasn't crying because I was sad. I was crying because I couldn't have my way. So but that's
Right.
but that's God. If you have the Holy Spirit, God gonna speak to
Mm,
your heart and be like, "Be quiet. I'm talking to Him." And now it may be a month or a week or two later, He'll come to me and tell me what God said, and God been already told me. That's why He told me to shut up because He was already telling. He's got to speak to Jeremy for Jeremy. Once Jeremy sees it, we on the road, like we on the road.
mm,
So that's why I say a lot of times I tell people I gotta wait till he tell me something. And when he tell me something, then and he don't move fast, he waits on God. And I love that about him. I love that about him. I moved fast and thought it was God, and it was all aiming and it failed. I'm just gonna be real. So you won't have to make sure that you're hearing God, especially when you have that partner that's your head. Listen to him. Not saying you can't make a decision, but listen. Listen to
I
him.
love that, being open to listen, being led by Holy Spirit. But then I also love what you said about being open to how God wants to connect you in your faith walk,
Hmm.
because a lot of times we are trying to stay in our own little bubble, or in our own, place of familiarity or the comfort zone. I know these people are going to support me, they're going to push me, and then you step out on faith, you launch the business, you write the book, you obey, and now you've got all your hopes in this one idea of the same people supporting you. So I
Mhm.
love that. I love that you said that. And I love that you talked about being open to other races and just other places. All of that is
Yeah.
important when you are walking by faith. Okay, so what about, moving into things that are not so comfortable? God says, I want you to do this, and you're excited because you're moving in your purpose, but what he's telling you to do may not be as comfortable. Can you speak to that, or do you have any thoughts around that?
Yeah, it is. It's gonna be some times that you're gonna be uncomfortable. The
Mm-hmm.
more that you start receiving from God, and the more places you begin to go into, you're gonna be uncomfortable. There's gonna be some times when you feel like you're not worthy to be in the room, or you're not on the same level as other people in the room, or you don't have the type of prestige that the other people have in the room. So that uncomfortable is good for you, though. You need to feel that. You need to feel that, because when you feel that and you start putting it in His hands, though, because that's what you got to do. When you start learning to put it in His hands. I've been in places and I'd be like, okay, God, you got to take control. No longer me. Because if you go in and be in yourself, your words may mess up something. But if you let the Holy Spirit and God lead you, then He gonna get it right every time. He the big stepper. He gonna get it right every time. But don't
The
always do
big
stuff in your
stepper.
will. The big step. I got that from one of my sisters from the church. She calls him the big step.
I love it. I love
Yes,
it.
yes, yes, ma'am.
I love that. God
Yeah,
is the big stepper. He
he
steps
is. He
in.
is.
When he steps in, you know that he stepped in. Listen.
Yes, yes. Shout out to Alyssa. Alyssa, if you're watching, yes, ma'am. Shout out. She got some words, girl. But yes, he's the big stepper.
I love that, Aimee. And I think about that sometimes because I have a lot of friends who are introverts, Aimee. And I don't know if I'm sure you figured it out. I am a huge extrovert. Listen, love people. I mean, always ready to mingle and collaborate and hang out. But a lot of my friends are introverts. And I'm like, God, why you do this? But I listen to them sometime, and they're pursuing their purpose, they're calling, they're walking in the things that God has gifted them to do, but they don't want to network. They don't want to
Yeah,
go to the conference. They don't want to get on social media and post about their business. They don't want to get out of their comfort zone so that they can really do what they love to do.
yeah,
So I have a lot of friends who they'll do it, but they'll do it afraid. They'll do it uncomfortable. They'll do it in a way where it's like, oh God, okay, I'm gonna do this, and okay, bye. And that's what it takes.
yeah.
Sometimes when you are walking by faith, you're gonna be afraid. You're
Yes,
going to have to just do it, come from up under the covers and then, okay,
yeah,
pull the
yeah,
covers back. You're going to
yes,
have to challenge yourself and
yes,
push yourself to move forward no matter how you feel. I love
yes,
it. This is good
yes,
stuff. This is good stuff. Yolanda Hayden said, are they really growing then? That's true. And just like you said, Aimee, we have to make sure that we are embracing those uncomfortable moments
yes,
because it's
yes.
truly stretching us. It's pulling these things out of us that we don't need for where we're going, right?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right. Rare Jewel said, I love this. I love the realness, and it shows that following God and being obedient doesn't have to be mute and tight faced. We can have fun yet respectful in God. That's
yeah,
right. That's
yeah.
right. Yolanda said, you have to be uncomfortable to grow. That
Yes,
is so
yes,
true. That is
yes,
so true. Well,
yes.
y'all, I'm over here enjoying this. This is good. We're going to take a quick break here in 1 second, but I want you to put your questions in the chat. Listen, Aimee and I are both published authors. I've
Yeah.
written a few books. Aimee is walking in her purpose as a published author. She has a nonprofit. We are both passionate about media and all those things. So if you have a question about something you're working on, or you just need some encouragement concerning something, put it in the comments. We want to help
Yeah.
you, to inspire you, to push you on today. I'm excited about it, y'all. And make sure you're sharing this with somebody who really, really needs this. Let's go to a quick break and we'll be right back after this.
Okay.
All right, y'all. We are back right here inside of Jessica Grace Live, and I am here with my special guest, Aimee. Is it Bilger? Did I pronounce
Yes,
that right?
you did. Right on
Okay,
the money. Yes.
Bilger. And she is here with us, and we're just hanging out talking about walking by faith, getting out of the comfort zone. Listen, we have tagged this show, The Comfort Zone is canceled.
Yes.
Cancel it. It's over. We are no longer
Yes.
moving in fear. We are walking by faith, right?
Yes. Yes,
So, y'all,
ma'am.
if you have a question for us, like I said, we are excited about being here with you, and we're getting ready to wrap it up in just a minute. So, if you have a question for us, just put it in the comment section. What are you working on? What is it that you're believing God for this year? What are some things that you're doing to just trust God and walk by faith no matter where you find yourself? Put it in the comments, y'all. I'm excited. I'm so excited. Well, Aimee, it
Yes.
was such an honor to have you with us. And as you saw on the quick commercial break, we are honoring our nurses and
Yeah.
teachers this year. Yes, we're saluting nurses and teachers. Thank you all for your service and what you're doing to make this community, our community, our world so awesome through education and through healing. So we're excited about that. But Aimee, I want to give you an opportunity to share any last words that you have with those who are watching, just to encourage them to get out of their comfortable places and move forward in obedience to what God has called them to do. Want to give you an opportunity to share that with them now.
Yes, ma'am. I will say if God has given you a promise, and I'm sure he has, do not let it die. It can't die unless you let it die. Do not give up on the promise of God because it's still there. You just got to keep moving forward. And that's when she says the comfort zone is counseled. You got to get uncomfortable. Forget about the comfort zone. You're not going to be comfortable anymore moving into your promise. That promised land was not easy. It took Joshua and Caleb said we can do it, and about 100 more that said they couldn't, but them two. Yeah, just take you and God. Keep moving forward. Don't give up on your promise because it's still there. It's still there.
I love it. I love it. The promise is still there. Well, Aimee, for those who want to, follow what you're doing and stay in touch with you, how can they purchase your book? Tell us a little bit about how the viewers can connect with you.
The book can be purchased on any major website for us that sells books: Walmart, Amazon, Books a Million. Anyone that sells the books online, they can be count. You can order there. You can just actually type in the name. He married a whore with daddy issues. by Aimee Bilger. You type that in, major sites will come up that you can order it from. And I will say, what was your second question?
How can they connect with you and follow you?
So Miss Jessica Grace, y'all, she does such a wonderful job. It won't be long that you'll be able to connect with me through website. But right
All
now,
right.
you can reach out to me through Facebook. It's just Aimee Bilger. Same thing for Instagram, Aimee Bilger. That's my two sites, social sites that I'm on. Yes,
I love it, Aimee. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. It was an honor to have you on the show. You helped me kick off our live stream once again, and I am
great.
just so grateful to you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you for having me. Such an honor.
Of
You
course.
making me. I hope my daughter's watching. You making me want to start our show back up. Yes, this is yeah.
Listen,
Yes,
it's time. Listen, the comfort zone is
yes.
canceled.
Oh, yes. Council. It is council.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
ma'am.
All right, Aimee, thank you so much once again.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, y'all. So I'm excited, y'all. We're just excited about what God is doing. And I just hope that you have been inspired. I don't know what you've been praying about. I don't know what you've been wanting to do, what dreams, what goals you have. You may want to go back to school. Now is the time. You may want to purchase a house. Now is the time. You may want to get physically fit. Now is the time. You may want to start a business, be a published author. Whatever you feel like God has put on your heart, do it. And don't delay. I've heard someone say delayed obedience is disobedience. So the more you are just allowing yourself to sit there in procrastination, wondering if it's going to work, wondering if you can do it, the longer you wait, the more time it will take for you to see what you desire. So move forward in your purpose. Don't stress, don't worry. Know that God is with you and He's got you. Let's cancel the comfort zone, y'all. Let's cancel it and let's show up where God has called us to be. I'll see you guys next time right here on Jessica Grace Live. It's going down. We've got so many great things coming up. Tuesdays, we'll be talking about all things business, media, and marketing. I will be giving free trainings right here. So if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you're watching from, I'll be giving free trainings for media and marketing, showing you how to build your website, how to do good graphics, all of those things right here on Jessica Grace Live. And then Fridays are Faith Friday. So we'll be diving in deeper. Once again, we want to thank our sponsor, Blessed Accessories and Gifts, blessedgiftsandmore.com. They are located in Tupelo, Mississippi. Cheryl Hike is the founder and CEO. So please go by and support this small business and let her know that Jessica sent you. I'll see you guys next time right here on Jessica Grace Live. Take care.